This is our online First Solemn Communion class. Welcome.
Glory be to Jesus Christ. Hi guys. Father Bo, let me introduce today's session. We're going to talk about, ourselves as people. Because, we know about God, and now we need to figure out who are we as people.
Well, Marilyn, if we're going to understand who we are, we have to understand who God made us to be. And He made us in His own image and likeness. Even though He made us like Himself, sometimes we make ourselves not like Him. So if we're going to understand what we are, we also have to understand what sin is.
I remember this part of the Bible. It's kind of like Genesis chapter 3. Can I tell that story?
Can we stop you?
I don't think so. Well, after Adam and Eve were made by God in His own image, and God said, "Hey guys, you guys look like you're having fun. You guys are allowed to play and to eat whatever you want, except in the middle of the garden there's two trees. One of those trees, the tree of knowledge of good and evil, don't eat from that one. You're not ready for it." One of the favorite games that Adam and Eve liked to play were hide and go seek. They would hide under the bushes, they would hide over the hills, they would hide pretty much everywhere. Eve was really good at this game. She would hide up high because Adam always looked underneath all the bushes. Well, one day when Eve was hiding up in the tree, she saw there was a serpent. And the serpent said, "Hey, look at this fruit. It looks good to eat." And Eve said, "Yeah, I know, but God said for us not to eat it." And the serpent said, "Well, why?" And Eve said, "Well, apparently we're not ready for it yet." And the serpent says, "Ooh, that God, you know what? He wants to keep the secrets of the knowledge of good and evil all to himself, so that he can be super biggie, powerful guy. But if you eat from this tree, then you will know just like God what the difference is between good and evil. So why don't you just take it for yourself? You don't have to listen to God." And Eve, she went with it. She picked up some fruit, and then she ate it. Later that day, she went down and talked to Adam, and Adam wondered why she was kind of hiding behind a bush, but maybe she liked playing hide-and-go-seek so much. And she said, that she knew stuff that he didn't know. And he was kind of puzzled until she gave him some fruit, and he ate it too. And then he realized that, they were naked, and so he hid himself as well. Well, then God came, and God said, "Hey guys, where are you?" Even though he knew what they were doing, they were hiding. And they said, "Oh, we're hiding from you because we feel guilty because, we ate the fruit." And God said, "You guys shouldn't have eaten the fruit. Now, because you know good and evil, you're going to have to, suffer the consequences of doing evil. Because you guys ate that fruit, now you're going to have to die. And you know what? I'm going to have to kick you guys out of this paradise until you have to learn your lessons and return to me the right way." And so God kicked Adam and Eve out of the paradise, and He set an angel there to keep them out. And that's where the rest of the story will continue another time.
So you see, Adam and Eve took instead of giving. God is always giving, and He made us so that we would give. Let's draw this picture. We described God like a hose, always pouring out His love and His energy. Well, if we're made in His image, then we kind of look like Him too. Let's draw some little circles. And each of us is supposed to pour forth our love and our energy on everything around us, just like God pours out His energy on everything around Him.
So you mean we're supposed to always love?
God is always pouring into each and every one of us His love. It's our job to take that love and to pour it out on others. God can supply the water for a million, billion, zillion, everybody, and He still won't run out of living water for us to share and to make the world full of His love.
God's love is so beautiful. I wish I could fill a swimming pool with His living water, and then I could swim in it. I could be there and be happy in His love all the time.
Marilyn, indeed God's love is great, but if we want to keep all that water for ourselves so that we could swim in it, well, that would be selfish. Selfish is when we take the energy and the love of God and give it to ourselves and don't give it to others. It's like putting a blue arrow pointing inward. God doesn't have any selfishness. When we do selfish acts, we make ourselves different than God. As I said, it's like a garden hose.
Not the hoses again.
Well, if you're connected to the source of all the water and you choose to keep the water inside, that's like blocking the end of the hose. If you block the end of the hose gets full, and then it starts getting higher pressure inside. And sometimes that pressure can stretch you until you become way bigger than what you're supposed to be. You might think that you're keeping those blessings for the inside of you, but ultimately, you're getting yourself ready for a disaster.
But Father Bo, in reality, when we leave our hoses hooked up and then we stop the end of it, the hoses don't explode?
Well, Marilyn, that's because the pressure that the city provides our houses isn't the same kind of pressure that God has. The pressure that the houses has is limited, but God's power is not limited. He keeps on blessing and never stops. So in a house, it only goes to a certain point. But with God, He gives completely and totally forever.
Oh, I get it. This is an analogy. Sorry for the interruption.
No worries, Marilyn. Some hoses do burst, even in real life. However, not normally your regular garden hose in your yard connected to your house. Let me show you a video of real hoses bursting because they get too full of water. Did you see that? Let's watch another one.
Kablamo! Thanks, Internet. That was entertaining. But it does illustrate that, indeed, if we are too full, then we're gonna pop. Or at least spring a leak. And if we spring a leak and try and fix it, then we'll build up the pressure even more. We're supposed to be hoses that let love out. Give all your love to someone else. Don't worry, you won't run out of goodness if you're connected to the source of all love and life and goodness and yay, God!
Sin is keeping God's love for ourselves. Our love and energy is supposed to be for others, just like God. That's how we were made. When we focus on ourselves, we end up hurting ourselves. It might feel good in the short term, but in the long term, it's never good to sin. So we people are meant to be like God. And unfortunately, sometimes we sin, so we choose not to be like God. But God still calls us to be like Him.
Aren't we supposed to try and stay healthy and take care of ourselves?
Indeed, there's a difference between taking care of yourself and giving yourself more than what you need. We are allowed to eat, to exercise, to do good things, and to take care of ourselves, but not to put more attention on us than what we are supposed to. We absolutely should take care of our needs, but we should not fill every want that we have. I think it's time for our homework now. God made us always to love, but do we always love? In the Garden of Eden, how many special trees were there? If you need another hint, you can look at Genesis chapter 2, verse 9. I would love for you and your parents to read from the real Bible. Can you read from chapter 2, verse 15, all the way to the end of chapter 3? What is one thing that Marilyn did not talk about in her paraphrased story? Marilyn's paraphrased story talks about playing hide-and-go-seek. But did Adam and Eve really hide from God? Can you name the tree in which Byzantine bug was hiding? When Eve ate the fruit, what did Byzantine bug say? What word would fill this sentence correctly? Sin is not blank, the love we have. How did Adam and Eve feel when they ate the fruit? Were they happy? When Adam and Eve ate the fruit, they were changed. Were they more like God before they ate the fruit or after? Can you explain? Adam and Eve disobeyed God. Was that loving? At the end of the video, Father Bo said, we absolutely should take care of our blank, but we should not fill every blank that we have. What two words did he say? These next two questions are for kids in a 2021 First Communion class only, in case people in the future are using this too. Would you mind sharing your address with me so that I can send you an icon for you to paint? If you don't want to share your address, that's okay. You can also get the icon from me at the parish. When you do get the icon in your mail, would you kindly paint it? And then put it somewhere in your house where you and your family can pray in front of it. Also, can you send me a picture in an email so that I can see how it turned out? Don't forget to send your homework to me at father.nahachuski@eeparchy.com. I had fun with this lesson. I hope you did too. See you next time. This is our online First Solemn Communion class.